It's kind of a strange sight in Oklahoma, an honest-to-gosh horse race. Thousands of horses are raised here every year, but few race on their native turf. These races at Anadarko have a lot of heritage behind them. They're held at the American Indian Exposition, and most of the fans are Native Americans. For 100 years before Custer and Wounded Knee, the Indian and his horse were king of the prairie, and horse races were as Indian as powwow and war dance. Automobile and pickup have replaced the horse in almost everything else but the racetrack. This exposition lasts a week, and the races are probably the most popular attraction.
Three horses right here, and the flag is up. And they're off for 1/2 mile and 70.
To most people, horse racing means gambling, and gambling means money. And a little cash does seem to change hands here from time to time. But there's more to racing than just risking the rent check. Whether you're white man or Indian, Eskimo or redneck, there's an exciting kind of beauty. Maybe that's why they call it the king of sports. "5 years ago, Robert York tossed the everyday world aside and reached for a dream. He taught himself to juggle. Now, that only took about a half hour, he said. But since then, he has invested hundreds of hours of practice and over 1,000 performances into becoming one of the best jugglers in the world."
Missed. Trapped. I won't miss this time. Ha-ha.
York can juggle almost anything, including a career, which bounces between the performing stage and a classroom.
Yeah. We're going to do a lot of things. I'm going to need everyone to please pay attention closely.
York lives in Tulsa, but spends a lot of time traveling and teaching. The subject? What else? Juggling. This week he's working as an artist in residence at the Lawton school system, teaching junior high students.
Yeah, kind of cradle it so that it sits. Take your left hand.
Any performing artist lives a lot of their life for applause, and Robert York is no exception. But he says that the satisfaction of seeing someone learn can be better than a fanfare.
Okay? And close your arm in around it. Kind of like a muscle, right? Kind of like a muscle. Then, bring the ball over in front of you. Get it right in the middle. Bring it over in front of you, and then with a popping motion and a kind of a punch, raise your arm very quickly and push it out. It'll send the ball straight up into the air so that you can catch it. That's it. There you go. Roll it back in and pop it back out. It's a continuous motion, backwards and forwards. It's a continuous forward and back motion. That's the manipulation. You just squeeze it together as it comes down. Okay?
York is good at what he does.
Boy, this is tougher than liver in the school cafeteria.
No question about it. His long-term goal is juggling as many as 10 items at once. That would be a world record. But for now, he's balancing teaching and performing and practice. keep a career firmly in hand.
Okay, just...
Now went to my memory of the beginning when the ladies wore long dresses, and those days they wore corsets. And they had small waists because they laced very tight. And it was hard to kiss a girl those days because she was in some little misery over the tightness of the corset.
He's 100 years of wisdom, Henry Van Hook, 99, closer to 100. A former businessman, a present-day philosopher, and a wonder to 100 years of friends.
I was born November the 21st, 1881, in Fayette County, Kentucky. I don't think of my age that I'm near 100 till somebody gets to talking about my age. At my age, I don't see that I could be much better than I am.
Mr. Van Hook was of legal age before the automobile was even born. In those days, a gentleman traveled by horseback or else took a leisurely stroll. Mr. Van Hook was, and is, a gentleman. And every day he walks and looks at a world he's seen more of than almost anyone. Van Hook came to Oklahoma 70 years ago for a visit. He stayed. His wife of 53 years is gone now. His children live in other places. Mr. Van Hook says what he would really like to do is live to be 135. He says that would really be something. His friends, the ones who called us and asked us to do this story, hope he makes it. They think he's really something right now. Memories aren't really anything. Little souvenirs that we decide to hang on to. A lot of mine come from the Midway. That's the part of the state fair where bright lights and people travel in circles of confusion. For a child, it's a place to do a little growing up. And see a side of life that's more fascinating than any brand of reality. Sometimes, for some kids, Midway is the first look at a world outside of home and family. some ways, the Midway is a pretty accurate imitation of reality. Everything is based on risk. The odds in favor of losing are overwhelming. When the nickels and dimes are gone, the ride's ridden, and the night over, the reality of the Midway is noise and dirt and greed. But memories trade reality for reflections. I'll be back next year.
Okay, 80 paces, right.
The Romans and the Gauls fought their wars centuries ago. Patrick Wilson and Jerry Thompson fought theirs yesterday. They share a fascination for bloodless conflict with a growing group of people who call themselves war gamers. Patrick operates a store called the Armchair General, and he deals in imitation death and destruction in minuscule doses. Most war gamers can switch hit easily between centuries. They can fight the Battle of the Bulge or Bonaparte's Retreat. The soldiers are made of lead, and any self-respecting war gamer would rather surrender than show up on a field of battle with troops out of brightly painted uniform. The participants are in a very real sense generals.
Take up position.
But to war game and win,
Okay. I gave mine.
you have to know a set of rules that might have baffled Alexander the Great.
Okay.
Okay, now it's time to adjudicate fire.
All right.
Fire, okay.
All right. What's the range to the target? You're within range, aren't you? Your maximum firing range is
24.
still out here,
Yeah,
so that you are firing from more than half of your maximum range. Therefore, the fire effect will be halved. All right.
Okay, it's down.
The tactical factor is 2. The number of figures firing is 10. Therefore, on this matrix, 13 casualties are inflicted on
Right,
this
so you gotta
unit.
write that down. Just write down 13.
Right, I have already done so, and this
Okay.
unit has not taken enough casualties yet to cause a morale check or to in any way disorder them or make them nervous. Okay, we've adjudicated turn 1, we've recorded our casualties. Now what?
I'm in charge.
Your light cavalry
Light cavalry.
against my light cavalry.
Yes, of course.
Swell. All right, let's do it.
The best thing about wargaming
You gotta roll
is that
the
you can
dice.
lose the battle.
1.
All right.
You can
so
even lose the
skirmish is,
war.
that was a 2.
and come back and fight again the next day.
7's 9 inches.
9
And
inches.
never make an
all right.
enemy.
9 inches is.
There.
Right, he went cock anyway.
Good. Oh, that worked well. Okay,
All right,
now,
that's fine.
now talk about that. Let that be your roll, okay?
Right,
Okay.
okay.
So
This is
that's
a net of a down 1.
Down 1, so it goes down to a 3.
Right.
You've got 5 guys at a 3.
5 Cretan archers firing at a tactical factor of 3 against your Cassette.
That's
Do that
8.
again. I guess it's sitting right there. Okay.
Right. My 10 Cretan archers, of which we only have half fire,
Right.
have fired at your Cassette. They have gone down 1 tactical factor.
2 of 3 is 8.
Right. Your men are shieldless. Consequently, they will take some more
Okay, let's try to do the
bolt throwers.
The bolt
Now talk
throwers.
about what you just did here, man.
Oh, all right.
okay.
All right. My Cretan archers are firing at over half of their normal range, so
When evening chores are over at our ranch house on the plains, and all I've got to do is lay around, I'll saddle